On February 15th, 2023, LaMelo Ball made NBA history, passing Luka Doncic to become the second youngest player ever to record 1,000 points, 1,000 assists, and 1,000 rebounds for his career. Only LeBron James had done this faster. The season before, LaMelo looked like a true franchise star, making the All-Star team at just the age of 20. He was making the NBA look like a pickup game. He could score from anywhere. He had eyes in the back of his head. NBA defenses couldn't stop him. But then came the hate. After several injuries and terrible front office moves, this season LaMelo Ball put up a 50-point game and nobody cared. Instead, the narrative had switched. Suddenly, the media is telling us that LaMelo is a stat padder. We've heard a top lottery pick refuse to work out for Charlotte because he didn't want to play with LaMelo Ball. Paul George even said,
"I'm not picking Charlotte. I'm not going out, like my career over with if I go there."
But is everyone overreacting again? We need to remember LaMelo Ball's entire basketball life thus far has swung wildly between superstardom and doubt. In high school, Melo was written off even after scoring 92 points in a single game. Then he bounced back as the number 3 pick in the draft. Only now in the NBA, he is being written off again despite putting up all-star level stats. So today, we're going to dig into this. Has the media lied to us? Have they exaggerated about LaMelo and made his situation look much worse than it actually is? And more importantly, is this hate fuel? Are we about to witness another LaMelo Ball bounce back? I think the first thing we need to question here is just how bad are the Hornets actually? Obviously, with a 19-63 record this season, we know that the Hornets are terrible, but what's very important here is the team's record with LaMelo playing. In the 47 games LaMelo was on the court this season, the Charlotte Hornets were 16-31. That still sounds really bad, but in the 35 games without him, the Hornets were 3-32. The 2012 Charlotte Bobcats hold the record for worst season in league history at 7 wins and 59 losses. That was in a shortened season. The Bobcats also had the lowest win percentage ever. The 2025 Hornets, without LaMelo Ball playing, had a lower win percentage than the most atrocious NBA team we have ever seen. So are LaMelo Ball's injuries concerning? Yes. LaMelo has played in just 105 games in the last 3 seasons. That is not good. The Hornets, though, do believe they have a solution for this. They shut down LaMelo this season so that he could have some procedures that will fix him long term. Hopefully they are right, but to attack LaMelo in general for the Hornets record is insane when we consider that they win less than 10% of their games without him. But before we continue, I am very excited to thank Built Rewards for sponsoring today's video. If you are paying rent without receiving anything in return, let me introduce you to Built, the rewards program designed for renters who want to earn something for their largest monthly expense. Let me explain. By paying rent through Built, you earn flexible points on your rent payments that can be redeemed for hundreds of hotels and airlines, a future rent payment, your next Lyft ride, and more. Built is about making your neighborhood more rewarding. You can dine out at your favorite local restaurants and earn additional points. Get VIP treatment at certain fitness studios. Get exclusive experiences just for Built members every month. Built is turning a monthly expense into an opportunity to earn rewards and discover the best that your neighborhood has to offer. There's no cost to join, and you don't need to get your landlord involved to start paying rent through Built. So if you're not earning points on rent, what are you waiting for? Sign up for Built using the link in my description or the QR code that is on the screen right now, and make sure to use my URL so they know that I sent you. Thank you to Built for sponsoring today's video, and now let's get back into that video. So maybe the problem is not that LaMelo is a stat padder. Maybe it's that he has no one to pass the ball to. In fact, according to Crafted NBA, Melo ranked in the 99th percentile in open shots created for his teammates this season. He also ranked 10th in the NBA this season in potential assists per game, aka assists that would have happened if your teammates had made their shots. This narrative that Melo is not a winner, that he is not a team player, is just false. To be fair, LaMelo did lead the league in usage percentage this season. However, Melo was also an actual superstar to begin this season before injuries came into play. In the first 18 games of the 2025 season, LaMelo Ball averaged 31.1 points, 6.9 assists, and 5.4 rebounds rebounds per game. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just won the MVP with an almost identical stat line. The difference being that Shai led the Thunder to 68 wins and a championship, while the Hornets looked like a near rec league basketball team. And unfortunately for Charlotte, this is actually nothing new. The Charlotte Hornets might be the worst franchise in the current NBA. They have not made the playoffs since 2016. They have not been out of the second round since 2002. They have never made the finals. They've never made the conference finals. They have never even won a division title. Where you get drafted as a young player matters a lot. That team is in control of your entire future. And the Charlotte Hornets have continued to fail LaMelo Ball at an alarming rate. Seriously, have we ever had a worse string of decisions by an NBA front office trying to build around a young star? For those who know, this is shades of what the Kings did to DeMarcus Cousins. Because back in 2022, not only was LaMelo the lone all-star on the Charlotte Hornets roster, but also at the age of 20, Melo led the Hornets to the play-in game in just his second season. It looked like both Melo and the Hornets had an extremely bright future. Only the Hornets did everything they could to destroy their team. Before LaMelo had ever played a game with them, Charlotte participated in a sign and trade with the Boston Celtics for Gordon Hayward, paying him $120 million over 4 seasons in what became one of the worst contracts in the NBA. In 2021, they drafted James Bouknight at pick number 11. Alfred Sengun, a current all-star center for the Houston Rockets, was taken at pick number 16. Okay, that happens. Hindsight is 2020, right? But then in the 2022 draft, the Hornets took Jalen Duren and traded him for future picks in what was considered a salary dump. Duren has emerged as the perfect center to complement Cade Cunningham, another young star who just led the Detroit Pistons to the NBA playoffs. LaMelo would love to be playing with Jalen Duren, but at least Charlotte stole Mark Williams with pick number 15 in that same draft. Only they just traded Mark Williams this offseason to the Suns for the 29th pick in the 2025 draft and a 2029 first rounder. Again showing they do not want to pay anyone. Who is their center next season? Mason Plumlee? Why trade away a third-year player in Mark Williams who just averaged 15 points and 10 rebounds per game on 60% shooting? In fact, why trade him away twice? The Hornets only have one big contract on their current roster, LaMelo Ball. Miles Bridges will make $25 million next season and $22.8 million in 2027. Other than that, Brandon Miller, who is on a rookie contract, is currently set to make the third most money on the team in that 2027 season. So it's not like the Hornets need cap space here, and to make things even worse, if we remember, after the Hornets almost made the playoffs in 2022, LaMelo's high-flying wingman, Miles Bridges, was charged with domestic assault and missed the entire 2023 season and has not been the same since. You have to pay to win basketball games, you have to pay to build around a star, and the Hornets are refusing to do this. But there is still a light at the end of the tunnel here, because while LaMelo Ball is a flashy player both on and off the court, I think that has led to people having a negative assumption of him that is simply not true. People don't think he's a hard worker, but there is no evidence of that whatsoever. In fact, there is tons of evidence of the opposite. His coaches and teammates have praised him consistently throughout his career for his hard work. Working hard is not a problem for LeVar Ball's son. The next two steps for Melo really are: 1, working hard to be healthy, and 2, developing into a leader as the team's franchise star. But again, there is real hope here. In 2012, Steph Curry played in just 26 games in his third season and averaged just 14.7 points per game. At that point in his life, nagging ankle injuries were consuming Steph. Yes, year 3, Steph Curry averaged less than 15 points per game. At that point, nobody was projecting him as a top 10 player of all time. Bill Simmons ranked Steph Curry 35th in his trade value column that season, behind Jeremy Lin, Derek Williams, and Serge Ibaka. The sole reason being that nobody trusted in Steph's ankles. This was very similar to the current LaMelo Ball situation. The 2012 Warriors even won just 23 games. No one knew what was coming next. It still took him until year 5 to become an all-star, but then by year 6, he was the league's MVP and the Warriors won the championship. Is this the best case scenario for LaMelo Ball? Of course it is. LaMelo is working his hardest this summer to come back from these injuries, and we also have to remember, last season the Hornets had every reason possible to keep him on the bench. They were in full tank mode, but At the end of the day, we do also have to be realistic. We cannot control injuries for anyone. What we do know though is that the talent for LaMelo Ball to become a great top tier player in the NBA is there. This notion that he is selfish or out for himself is just a false narrative. Here is what Melo said after signing his max extension.
Shoot first time shot. How about you doing? Shoot for that too. Shoot for them all. Main thing, winning though.
LaMelo Ball himself believes he can be first team All-NBA and the MVP of the league someday. But his main thing, as we just heard, is winning. There is still plenty of time for LaMelo to have a tremendous NBA career. It all starts with him just staying on the court in the 2026 season, letting his talent shine, and then the Hornets building from there. So there we have it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did like the content, only if you enjoyed it, please make sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications. That way you never miss another video. If you're already subscribed, thank you so much for supporting. You are awesome. We all know it. And as always, have an awesome day and cue that music.